What is going on, you guys? Dr. Tiger here. Today is Monday, March 9th, and I took a dub on the charts today. Let me show you what I ended up taking. It was a beautiful trade. I'm so proud of this trade, and I somehow did not get stopped break even. I had a better entry because I stayed patient and waited, and I also am just feeling really proud because I followed all my rules and I just waited for my A+ setup. It aligned with my bias. So let me just first of all show you my bias and let me show you what I was thinking going into the charts. Um, so first of all, this was the trade that I ended up taking. So we had beautifully swept the new week opening gap, beautifully tapped the new week opening gap, swept it beautifully and respected it. And then on the 3 minute, the 3 minute was the highest time frame inversion. We get this beautiful 3 minute displacement death candle going through the 3 minute gap, indicating that we want to go lower to at least this 15-minute intermediate low. And that's what I targeted. However, I did not enter at the 3 minute close because it kind of was a little bit further down. I wanted to wait for a pullback. So as you can see, I entered on the pullback in the next candle and I basically was in no drawdown. It was the most beautiful trade ever. And going into the day, my bias was also bearish. So it feels really nice to know that I had a bias that was correct. I thought that I was going to be a little bit more neutral, but I was thinking that we were super close to the new week opening gap. We would re-sweep the high and then go lower to potentially London or Asia low. London and Asia low were quite far away, so I just decided to put my target for my trade as the most conservative target, which was this 5 and 15-minute intermediate low. And we ultimately ended up respecting that level, as you can see on the charts here. So just a beautiful trade, feeling super proud of my execution. I technically can request a payout on 4 of my accounts. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to do it because the balance is not that great. It would only be 1.2K times 4 accounts. So I might ask my mentor about that. I'm not really quite sure. Plus I wouldn't want to like risk all my capital going into CPI. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, you guys, great trade today. Feeling really great. Hopefully I can keep this momentum going into tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What is up, guys? Dr. Tiger back again. Today is Tuesday, March 10th. And I just wanted to record a video prior to market open because I did request a 4.9K payout yesterday. And this marks my first 10K from trading, which is super awesome. Feeling super great about that right now. And just got to keep this momentum going. I have questioned whether or not to try to full port some evals for CPI tomorrow, but I think that I've decided that I'm not going to try to rush progress. I think that copy trading on 10 accounts after 6 months is just a little crazy, and I kind of want to feel a little bit more confident with my consistency. I haven't had that much consistency with payouts yet. Technically, this is my 3rd payout. And I just want to be more consistent with my trading. I think that having March be a solid month would really reaffirm to me that I'm ready to scale. And so that's what I'm just going to focus on, is trading well through March and focusing on getting another payout. And that outcome is achieved through trading well. So I'm just going to focus on focusing on the inputs like discipline and patience and following my rules. But yeah, I'm going to update the balance to 10K, which is super awesome. Today, I'm going into the day with a bullish bias, and I think it's just very clear why. We are just trending up on the higher time frame. Yesterday, we just completely ripped up, and not going to lie, we haven't really had that much of a retracement, so I'm kind of hoping that off open, we can dump to this untapped 4-hour gap. We haven't yet to tap it, and then we can reverse and hit London high. Not sure if that will happen because technically there is a bearish SMT with ES at London high. London high swept these March 6th highs and ES did not, as you can see here. But at the same time, I mean, I still just think overall market structure is super bullish. So we'll see what ends up happening, and I'll catch you guys once I take a trade. So you guys, I forgot to record, but I took a break-even trade today. And let me show you what I took. I really like the trade. It went directly against my bias. I had a really strong bullish bias and I took a short. I really like the short though. Let me just show you this. So as I just showed you, we were overall bullish, but off open, we ripped up, we tapped the 1-hour gap, BPR actually, we tapped a 15-minute gap and we got really strong rejection after that, which to me really signaled that this was an A+ short, or not necessarily A+ because I was bullish, but it was a good short, a good enough short for me to take. So when I saw we closed through this gap on this candle, I went short and I put my stop above the 930 high and I put my TP at a 1-to-1. The reason I did not target this low is because I viewed this low as really high resistance and protected. It was the sweep of London low that we rejected off of. And so I just targeted a 1-to-1. We chopped for a really long time. I kind of sat through like 6 minutes of drawdown. And then when we swept this 930 low and we swept what I thought were these lows, I went break even. And yeah, I know some people held through this trade and held to full TP. I just was not willing to do that. If we got this really strong bullish reaction off of the sweep of 930 low, I really did not like that. So yeah, break even trade today. I will say there was one trade that I know some people in the space took and I really just did not like it. And I think they're like, for people who did it and it won, you know, it's good discretion. I think that it was a nice winning trade, but I had my reasons for not taking it. And I was bullish basically all day, but we ultimately like slowly trended lower during the beginning of the AM session. And I was going to be open to longs if we took this low, but we did not take this low. We actually made equal lows and ES took the low. So technically it's a bullish SMT, but when we have equal lows below and we form like these inversions, I just think they're automatically less probable. And also, like, as you can see, this is around 10:30 and I know that like genuinely time doesn't really matter when we have draws on liquidity intact like London high and the 930 high, but this 930 high was protected at this point because it was inside this 15-minute and hourly bearish gap that got respected. And so I kind of was just like, you know what, this long is less probable. I also did not love how it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5-minute candles to inverse it, which is 25 minutes. It took 25 minutes for us to inverse this 5-minute gap. So really did not like that. I know it ended up winning, but I think it was a good trade to journal. And yeah, just trying to get 1% better every day. We move on to tomorrow, and I'm not going to lie, tomorrow is CPI. I will be full porting, but I just have to remember that even if I am nervous, I am taking I'm making a decision that has a high win rate, right? The CPI method has around an 80% win rate. And if inflation is to be as predicted, then we will probably not have a huge wick out. So that's kind of what I'm betting on. And I'm also going to be betting on my fundeds because my fundeds are meant to be rinsed and repeated. Obviously, these accounts I've invested money into, but I've now gotten the return on investment from these accounts, meaning that I should trade them more aggressive and riskier. So CPI is going to be the way that that happens, and I'll be risking 2 minis. I'm probably going to stream it in my Discord. So if you want to catch future CPI streams, then join my Discord. Link is in the description. But yeah, guys, I will catch you guys tomorrow for CPI. All right, boys. So I got absolutely destroyed by CPI. Today is Wednesday, March 11th. And this is right after CPI, and it really just did not go the way I thought it would. It came out exactly as predicted. Like, I'm looking at CPI, it came out exactly as predicted. However, the market just did not move much. And what happened on NQ was we wicked up. We did not like fully move up. We wicked up and then we reversed down. So it kicked me out of the trade. I lost the 4 funded accounts. This one surprisingly did not get lost. I think the reason is because it's because whatchamacallit, like I had these 4 and they were keeping me in the trade. This one had not, so this one is still here. I'm thinking I'm going to get 4 more top step evals for today and for moving forward. I think that really it's just a part of the process. It's part of the game. It sucks. I mean, I don't really know anyone who won CPI trading it today. And something that makes me feel better is that I took my payout on, I don't even remember what day. I took my payout on Monday, and that allowed me to secure more return on investment on those accounts that I blew. Like, I made around 5K and I spent less than $500 on it. So definitely nice return on investment there, but you know, just got to keep going. Gonna get more evals and just not gonna let this deter me. I mean, I know that CPI strat is very risky, and but in the long run, like in the long term, it has like a 70 to 80% win rate. And so yeah, I mean, just have to trust in that. So anyways, guys, I will catch you guys once I take a trade today. You guys, I took another avoidable loss today, and it just is so annoying. Like, whenever I try to apply my discretion, to catch a move, like I always fail, and I just don't understand. Like, so let me just explain to you what happened. So off open, we swept this data high here. We swept data high, and it was very like we kind of started like chopping at this high. I mean, we closed above it, sure, but on the 15-minute and the hourly, we respected this 15-minute gap, and we also appeared to, at the time, I mean, we inversed this hourly, but at the time we appeared to be respecting this hourly bearish gap, and so I kind of was saying to myself, okay, I like shorts here. So I was looking for this 5-minute to get inversed, but I kind of just felt convicted in these equal lows as my draw on liquidity. And so I ended up taking a 1-minute as my entry, this 1-minute inversion of the 930 candle. And so I waited for the 1-minute inversion. I ended up taking that. And I got stopped, and Asia high ended up being the draw on liquidity. I do recognize that like these 5 minutes did not close through. This 5-minute did not close through. This 5-minute did not close through. And if I had waited for the 5 minutes to close through in order to take shorts, then I would not have been cooked on this trade. But that was just part of me using my discretion, and my discretion was wrong today, and that just absolutely sucks, bro. I think shorts might play out now that we've taken Asia high, but it just, I'm done for the day with trading, just feeling really annoyed. Also, I'm really annoyed with Trade C as well, because I copped some new evals from Lucid to try and, you know, eventually pass some evals, and I entered the trade and I entered sell. It did not enter me in. So I tried again, did not enter. I refresh and my accounts were blown. So I don't know what to do. I'm going to try contacting support. I genuinely don't know what the issue is, but you guys, just feeling really annoyed, because if I had stayed patient, like, I don't know why I just lacked patience today. I feel like I tried to use my discretion in order to justify my 1-minute entry. I felt convicted in the draw on liquidity below, and I liked how we swept data high and we're rejecting it. Just feeling really annoyed. So, I mean, this sucks. I'm just going to go into tomorrow trying to go into it with a better headspace, or with a better mindset. So anyways, you guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What is going on, guys? Dr. Tiger back again with another check-in. Today is Thursday, March 12th, and I did half pass 4 of my top step evals, and I did secure a really nice winning day on the Express. This is my stats for the day. So this is on the Express, and then I'm also copy trading for evals. Let me just show you the trade I took. So I originally was going into today with a neutral bias, but when I saw that right off open, we swept London low very beautifully and then got this super bullish reaction off of it. All I was looking for was an inversion to take longs. I ended up entering before the inversion happened, and like I do have an issue with that. I really need to work on that, but this was the trade I took. It just immediately ripped a TP, and that feels awesome. But I don't know, I just had high conviction that we would get the inversion, so I entered like in this candle. Thankfully, we ended up actually closing through it and then delivered to a 5-minute gap in these equal highs here. So yeah, just feels really great to take a nice trade. If you remember this Thursday, there were very many clean setups today. I did not take the others because this was my trade for the day, and I already just wanted to, you know, not risk any more profits. So felt good about that, and yeah, just going to try my best to stay patient and disciplined going into tomorrow. So yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What is going on, you guys? Dr. Tiger back again. Today is Friday morning, and I just wanted to record this video because I am halfway past to my evals, and I kind of have been encouraged, and I feel motivated to try to pass the evals in trades that aren't necessarily like me waiting for the most A+ setup during New York AM session. I want to like try my best to take advantage of other times so that I could, you know, pass in, or excuse me, have fundeds for New York AM session. And unfortunately, I took 2 break-even trades. I just want to show you what they were. So my first trade, basically, before I just go into the trade, I just want to show you that overall my daily bias for today is bullish, and the main reason is because since the end of London session, we have pumped up 200 points, and so I think that is a very bullish movement. We inversed this bullish hourly. We respected this 4-hour gap to the left, and so I just think that gives us conviction to go to this untapped hourly BPR. So, anyways, going back to my trade, I really liked these two longs. This was the first long that I took, and I just had woken up really early today, so I happened to hop on the charts, and I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm going to try these for my evals. So I took this 5-minute inversion. We had tapped a 15-minute gap. We were clearly trending bullish, strongly inversed this 5-minute. I entered targeting a 1.5 RR for my evals, and unfortunately got break even. And then I took what I feel is another good setup. And after this move up, we made another 5-minute gap. You can kind of see it right here. We made this 5-minute gap and we tapped into it. And so I took a 1-minute inversion off that gap tap as like a continuation long right here. And had I had my stop a little bit tighter, I would have been able to pass these evals. But unfortunately, I got stopped break even. And what's crazy is that price ended up delivering to all of my draws of Asia high. I also had some equal highs above as my draw, and unfortunately just could not hold through it. I have rules that allow me to go, or that, encourage me to go break even to protect myself, and I do that. But just going to go into today feeling super patient and disciplined. I have decided that going into the rest of this month, I am going to challenge myself to not enter before candle close. That is going to be extremely difficult. I am going to, like, if I see an A plus 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 opportunity that I would miss if I did not front run the gap, then I will do it. But it really needs to be like the most obvious situation in which I would front run the gap, because I feel like that's been one of my problems that has led to so many losses, avoidable losses, including one this week. I think one on Wednesday. The loss on Wednesday could have totally been avoided had I just stayed on the higher time frame and waited for the candle closure. So anyways, guys, I am going to catch you when I take a trade. All right, so y'all, I passed my evals. I took a winning trade that passed my evals, and I also got a really nice winning day for my Express. As you can see here, $1,300 day, up on the account, feeling great. I must admit that today I did take 2 trades, and I think that the second trade was potentially preventable, and I shouldn't have really taken the trade, but I saw it playing out, and there have been times where there was a time earlier this week, I think it was yesterday actually, where I saw where I had taken my setup really early into the open, and then I saw a really nice setup on top of that was also a great setup, and had I executed on that other setup, I also would have won more on the day. I'm not necessarily being driven by greed, but I think that sometimes when I see a really good setup, I want to take it. However, the second trade was not that great. I'll show you why. But anyways, going into the open, as I told you, I was feeling very, very confident in longs. And so all I really needed to see on the 5-minute time frame, we had all this low resistance liquidity right here, and I just needed to see some sort of sweep of that. Off open, we ended up sweeping some of the low resistance liquidity. We had tapped this small hourly gap. We didn't tap this gap. I also noticed that on ES, we had made a fair value gap SMT. You can see that ES did not tap its gap, NQ did. So we had an SMT there as well. And then on the 1-minute time frame, after sweeping some of that LR, we had this beautiful 1-minute inversion right here. And I took that, targeting the, I call it a data high because genuinely, what is this candle? Genuinely, what is this candle? So I called it a data high. I could have targeted the untapped hourly BPR considering how bullish I was, but honestly, I'm content with the target that I chose. Now, the 2-minute continuation long looked like this. And the reason why I think this trade failed, the reason why I took it, I still took it, but I took it lighter risk, and I thought it would be at least a break-even trade. It did not. And I think the reason is that this untapped hourly BPR is extremely high resistant. Like BPRs are high resistant, and we don't necessarily always just want to ram through them. We just need to be super careful when we've already swept liquidity and we're in a premium. And this is kind of like an overextended continuation trade, right? Like what you would want to see is kind of like a little bit deeper of a retrace before ultimately going long again. And yeah, I mean, now we're dumping. So I guess the next draw on liquidity is probably this maybe bullish equilibrium or this untapped hourly. Like it just makes sense that after tapping this huge target that we would want to rebalance the range more. So I think that is why the second trade lost. I'm okay with taking that trade though. I think that, again, every trade is a learning lesson, whether it be win, lose, break even, no trade, whatever. So feeling good that I could win on the XFA and pass my evals back to 5 expresses. And yeah, this has been an interesting week. It's every single week is like emotionally rocky, and I really just want to work on improving consistency in my trading. I think that like that's just my major goal throughout March is to be more consistent with my trading, to be more consistent with my patience and discipline, and to execute on setups that I view as high probability. So guys, I think I will catch you guys next week, and hoping we can make the rest of this month a good month. So see you guys next week.